I see what happened here. There.
What's up?
You see, this is why I stream this stuff so that I can practice working with OBS.
Oh, no audio for the stream?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Gotcha. Okay.
Here I am cracking
Thanks.
jokes.
Appreciate it, Judge.
Sam's the only one who got mine.
But all right, so you
Sniffing
guys go
the bat.
to
I see
press
what
onto the
happened here.
doors. There's a little bit
There.
of resistance as you hear kind of a soft
You
click,
see, this is why
before they
I
push
stream
open
this stuff so that I can practice
and the doors
working
swing
with OBS.
into a wide, dimly lit corridor.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Gotcha. Okay.
Here I am cracking
Thanks.
jokes.
All right. Appreciate it. As you all enter
Sam's the only one
the
who got
interior of the Mist Temple.
mine.
All right, so you
Sniffing
guys go
the
to
bat.
So
I
pretty.
see
press
what
onto the
happened here.
doors.
Thanks.
There's a little bit of
There.
resistance. So
You
you
see,
see
this is why
several
I
large
stream this
torches
stuff
and
so that I can
braziers
practice
are
working with
lit
OBS.
with kind of a dark purple light, dimly lit corridor.
Yeah,
They kind of
that's what it
flicker
was.
between kind of a dark purple to blue to
Here I am
red.
cracking jokes.
And they all just kind of have this ethereal glow upon the space. As soon as you enter, there's really, as soon as you open the doors, there's an immediate kind of wave of warmth, warm air, and the scent of decay, and the very distinct irony coppery smell to the air. As you step inside, you see blood immediately splattered across the walls and statues. You see body parts strewn across the floors. What you assumed was a once beautiful interior is now a battleground, a massacre of bodies. At first glance, you're not quite sure how many bodies there were, between how many pieces there are. You begin to make out maybe 4 or 5 corpses lay strewn throughout the room in various states of dismemberment and decay. First glance, you kind of see the large statues, like I said before. Each one kind of depicts what look to be elven figures. You're not quite sure, but you see the features of elven. But yeah, as you enter, this is the scene you see. On the back far room, you see this center kind of podium and altar with the large stained glass window behind it, broken in several places, stones strewn across the floor, broken glass. The image that was depicted is no longer readable. Or, let's see, what else? Yeah, based on your passive perceptions, that's everything you see just by walking in.
Sam's describing this amazing scene, and I'm just like, I hope you guys can't hear my wife snoring in the background.
We can't.
Adds to the
Cannot.
ambiance.
Yeah, adds to the ambiance. There's one body snoring in the back. All right, you guys enter this scene. What do you do?
I'm gonna loot the bodies.
All right. You step inside and you immediately walk over to one of the nearby corpses and you give me an investigation or perception check.
I swear, Nefret, one day you're gonna loot the wrong corpse, and it's gonna be like rigged to explode or something.
I rolled a natural 20.
Natural 20. So you walk
Not
over
this
to
time.
these bodies and the one that kind of catches your eye, you kind of walk over and it looks to be like its face was kind of cut in half. Its head is strewn to the side. Its arms are broken in odd angles. One leg seems to be missing. There's like a gaping hole in its chest. Like you're like, holy shit, this body got you kind of
Straight in the back.
examine it. You see it's kind of wearing these beautiful and ornate kind of dark silver robes. no kind of identifying features on them. But you kind of look around at each of the bodies and notice four of the torsos, at least, have the same kind of robe on. Um, as you approach you kind of step into the center of this room, you can see another body kind of laid by the back altar. Seems to be wearing a dark black and red uh, kind of
Ooh,
robe instead. This body
what the
by
heck?
the altar seems to be the most intact. Um, there's a nat 20. Uh, you immediately notice all the other bodies were destroyed, but this one seems to be drained in some way. It seems to be almost like its skin is tightly wrapped around its bones. Its cheeks are sunken and hollow. Its eye sockets are black. Like,
Guys, there's vampires.
yeah, this immediately strikes you as like something has been taken from this body. Um, it looks like a husk to you.
Oh shit.
Yeah. As far as looting goes, you don't find anything of note too much on these bodies. So you find maybe about 5 gold between the corpses. And this one in the back, you do see it's clutching what looks to be a kind of blood-coated book in one of its far-off hands. Oh, you do also see a holy symbol on a kind of thick golden chain hanging from its neck.
Priest.
Yes. Yeah,
It's the
upon
Pope.
first glance, this does strike you as some type of priest. Um, as you examine this symbol, let me pull the book.
I want to take the black and red cloak or robe. Not cloak,
Yeah.
robe.
Okay. Yeah, you can take some time. You can pull it off of his body. It is coated in blood. It's disgusting, but you can take it off for sure, for sure.
Is it like my like size like robe? Or, like no.
I would say it's quite small for you.
Is
Okay.
there anyone that's probably my size?
No, you're a fairly large man, I would say.
If I take all of them and just fashion up.
You probably could with time, yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. I would say yeah, you kind of stash all the cloaks if you would like to, you can.
Is there anything of
Um
value?
yeah, you find about 5 gold between all of the bodies. Um and as you kind of examine this holy symbol, yeah, okay, cool. This is a good one. You'd notice that the symbol itself is what looks to be a large eye in the center of 7 long golden wings.
That just sounds cool.
It does.
Yeah.
Is the
That
fires
does
lit?
sound cool. I'm already
Yes,
intrigued.
the fires are lit.
Can I examine to see how long they've been lit?
For Gondor?
How what?
How long they've been lit?
Yeah. You can make an Arcana check or a investigation check.
Mm. While everybody else is doing that, I'm gonna ritual cast detect magic in the
Okay.
area.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Dirty 20?
Dirty 20?
Arcana?
Yeah. So you kind of walk over to one of these you know, dimly lit braziers, and it does immediately strike you as a magical flame. Um, as you get into the proximity, you notice that they don't give off any kind of heat. Right up until you like get your hand maybe a few inches from the flame. It's a very, very kind of a warm, you know, heat. Um, but yeah, you do notice these are magical flames. Uh, seem to just be an enchantment on the inside of each brazier and torch. You kind of go from each one.
Okay.
You see kind of a small rune kind of, etched inside each one. Yeah. As you ritually cast detect magic, You kind of take a minute, set up this ritual, and close your eyes. And as you reopen them and you look around, each of these bodies or pieces of these bodies are immediately lit in a variety of colors that you immediately recognize. You see blacks, you see purples, for every school of magic. You see some reds that you're not quite sure about. A few things that kind of mark you as off.
All right. I'm back. I just
Now,
grabbed a soda.
oh, yeah. You see, what you've seen a few times now, which you're beginning to recognize as the color for Sangomancy magic. It's this kind of deep crimson to what you originally think is maybe fire, but the way it kind of flows, it's almost more. What's the word? More structurally flowing, like a river. If that makes sense. So you kind of see these kind of pockets of magic throughout this room. You see the magic for the enchantments for each fire, just kind of dimly, lit to your vision. You see the divination magic kind of lingering on each of these bodies and within this kind of space within itself. Uh, you do get like a faint trace of, you know, how familiar is Ezra with elves and like
She's
elven
worked with
magic?
them from time to time.
Yeah, I would think so. Okay. Yeah, so you see kind of the soft silver light that you recognize as, elven magic kind of permeating the space in each of these bodies. Specifically, this altar and podium in the center kind of lights up to your vision as significant in some way. You're not quite sure. Um, in this book that this man is holding as well. Both kind of light up in a similar way.
All right, all right. Well, after examining the all this blood magic residue all over
Yeah.
the area, Ezra just takes out the handmade silver bullets and swaps out her ammo and her gun.
Okay.
I'm not taking any risks today. Everyone, there's blood magic all over this place. Keep your wits about you.
And I would say Ezra, as soon as you entered this space, you were able to detect it as well. The kind of heavy traces of necromancy in this space. You kind of take a whiff, a magical whiff of each of these bodies, and they reek of it. There's something about the figure by the altar, about the magic that's kind of clinging to his form. I want you both can either do it together. So one of you can roll with advantage, or you both can roll an Arcana or Insight check.
Nat 20 Arcana, which comes out to 25.
Holy shit! All right, yeah. So you go to walk over to this body, as Neferit described that it looks like this body has been sucked dry. You kind of walk over, crouch down next to it. You gotta crouch over next to it, and you immediately catch traces of like this body was killed by necromancy. There are kind of lingering, traces on them, and with this check, you are able to discern that these bodies have maybe been dead for roughly 2 days or so.
Okay.
Um, there's
Meh.
something about this body specifically. I'm not quite sure what it is that is kind of calling to your attention. You kind of look at it and you kind of get that like, how do I explain it? You get that like that chest of like something about this.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch it.
Right.
Ezra walks up to her, just kind of like examining it side by side.
Mhm.
I don't have a good feeling about this either.
Shadow. Make a religion check. Religion or history.
Hang on.
Well, it seems like whatever here left.
So
It's been a minute.
17.
17. If you kind of take a minute and kind of look around the space and kind of think on everything you've heard about the elves and what happened to them, the Mist Temple, what it was supposedly used for, whatever worship was done here. We remember being told that secrets were guarded here, that there was a faction of elven priests who refused to leave guarding this temple. And now that you kind of spent some time here and examined these bodies, you're sure that these are them. And you
Okay.
kind of think on it. You remember being told this. You remember this temple being above ground, a few hundred years ago or so. Not too long after the events of the Kindred and the God War.
Right.
As you see the holy symbol that Neverett pulls from this priest, you immediately recognize, with your role and with your background on celestial knowledge, you recognize this as the mark of Zabriel, one of the Arch Seraphs.
Right.
Kind of think on it for a minute and trying to remember what you know about Zabriel. Something about being the Seraph of Truth, was once a librarian of the goddess Teferia. And you remember her being loved by scholars and truth seekers.
Hmm.
Goddess of
It used to
scholars.
be above ground.
Judging from the state of things, yeah, that seems to be the consensus. But how?
The sinkhole.
Good question.
Well, even for a sinkhole, it like she walks up to one of the pillars. This place should be in just rubble, but it's not.
That is true.
How
Well, I will
far
say,
above did it used to be?
with your detect magic, as you kind of examined, the stone and the structure of this, you're fairly familiar with magical reinforcement, of structures. Despite how old you think this place is, as you kind of think on, significance of this temple, you suspect built up.
It's probably magically reinforced, but even so, a fall
Yeah.
from that height with this much mass? There's something strange here. And she just kind of
I
like
mean,
starts
in a
looking
world
around.
of magic, it's not really that strange.
Yeah.
That is true. We
Yeah.
don't really know the magics here.
Even so, this would be some very powerful magic just to hold this whole thing together. I certainly couldn't do it. I don't think I've met a magic user that could.
That's why you guys are having this conversation. Now for a roll a perception check with advantage.
25.
Jesus Christ.
We're killing
The
it.
25. Yeah, you guys are
Well,
old.
you said it was advantage, so I guess it
Yeah.
would have been. I thought that
So
was a 9.
you guys take a minute, and as you're talking, you kind of look around this room. You examine the pedestal and the altar. You begin to see kind of faint traces of what look to be a large kind of magical circle built into the the ground, this podium, this altar, all kind of interwoven into a large kind of matrix. You know, um, with your magical knowledge, you kind of think on it for a minute. With your 25, this reminds you of structures you've seen that are kind of built to protect something of power. You've trying to think about how to say this. As you examine this altar, something tells you that with the way that it's built and the way that this magical structure is built, um, something seems to fit in the center of this little platform. Um, it looks to be kind of a soft impression on the stone, maybe about 6 inches by 6 inches in a kind of a round sphere.
Hmm.
Really perceptible. You kind of look down at the book that this priest is holding. Do you pick it up?
What?
The book.
Yes.
Okay. Do you speak or yeah, do you speak like
Do I speak what?
Elven?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so you flip this book open and you immediately recognize some passages in an Elven that you don't quite recognize, but you're able to get some bits. Talks about the the sects of worship that the elves kind of followed, all the branching religions. Talks a little bit about Zabriel and the scholars that followed him. Um, and then begins to talk about the war and the acts that the gods begin to take against the kindred. Begins to mention kind of like how the elves were called upon for aid in these times. You begin flipping through the pages. It talks about the aftermath of the war, about how the few gods that remained were just kind of unsure what to do about what was left, and how it became to bicker with each other. Kind of flip through a lot more. Talks about how the gods mention that the Aether kindred are meant to return, and how that each kind of faction on this world was given a key to holding them at bay. Kind of flip through, you get to the back of the book. There's kind of a page torn out, kind of covered in blood. All you can really make out is talks about the Mist Temple being one of these places tasked with protecting an artifact of power. Though you're not sure what.
Hmm.
So I imagine you just kind of sitting there reading that while they're talking.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um. Once I'm done reading it, I relay
Yeah.
the information to everybody else.
So that's probably why someone attacked all these bodies.
Huh?
Hmm. Yeah. An attack would make sense. Looks at corpses.
Yeah. You look over and Stonk is just kind of like grimly looking at these bodies walking through the room.
Did you find
Kinda
anything
walks
else
up.
over here?
Ah, just something crazy happened here for sure. Kind of looks at the hollowed one. Whoa.
Whoa, what?
He just kind of looks at this piece. You assume maybe he's never seen something like this happen to a body before. I'm not sure.
Is there like, is this like a closed room or is there another door?
In your guys' search, you didn't see any more rooms, any more obvious doorways.
Hmm.
I mean, actually, the 25 in your true sight, as you followed these kind of magical matrices and these lines, let's say
About a
beneath the
secret
altar,
or
beneath the altar, there is one rune kind of looks out of place. Um, you kind of look at it, and you're not, a whiz in, magical runes or sigilry and stuff like that. But I think it's kind of odd that this one doesn't fit the sequence.
What do you mean?
So like, it's kind of sigils and like runes are like a pattern, right? That kind of meet a purpose. So when you have things like protective spaces, that are set up to kind of, be like a ward or, protective against certain types of magic, they're kind of set up in a specific sequence pattern, like ones and zeros, for example. You see a bunch of ones and zeros, suddenly there's a two in there, suddenly there's a one out of place.
Hmm.
Kind of
Can I
stands out as
inspect?
odd. Yeah, make an arcana check.
Dice.
Rolling.
That's a nat 1.
That one. You kind of bend down and look at it. Kind of don't know what any of this means. Yeah.
I'm gonna touch it.
Yeah. You run your fingers across it. You feel the very, very faint kind of grooves cut into the stone. You feel a soft, magical pulse beneath your fingers. Kind of look up at the altar. Not sure. Nothing happens upon your touch. But
I'm gonna call Ezra over and be like, hey, can you figure out why this looks weird?
yeah. You kind of look down and you quickly kind of notice it as well. You see this large sequence of runes kind of set up in this circular shape beneath the altar. You see kind of one section of it seems out of place.
Hmm. If I had to guess, I'd say that this right here looks like a protective sequence, and this right here seems to be some kind of, I want to say, lock.
That is true.
So if that were the case, it would take a key rune to be able to open that.
The key that was mentioned in the book?
Is there a key mentioned in the book?
Didn't he say a key?
Yeah. It mentioned a key being used to keep the kindred away. You're not sure if it means a literal key or a sort of metaphor for it. say you're fairly certain that these keys refer to the eyes of the kindred.
The eyes of the kindred.
What? How
Yeah,
do we...
you remember.
Didn't we recently get like? And Esther just kind of like starts rifling through her bag. Like, could have sworn we got like some kind of Orby thing recently. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah, Neferet. You picked up the orbs from the creatures in the last fog. One kind of large black obsidian orb and one kind of a smoky
Oh yeah.
quartz gem.
Well, apparently I didn't put that in my inventory.
I did. I
But
wrote it.
what?
I wrote it in your inventory.
Where?
The very bottom. Valuable ? Black gemstone, smoky gemstone.
Oh, okay. I bring them out.
Yeah, he pulled them out, and one is like a baseball size, and one's kind of like a golf ball, and then the smoky quartz one is like a small golf ball. You kind of pull these out, and the smoky quartz one kind of pulses in your hands, and make a wisdom save for me real quick.
Um, 7.
7. As you pull it out, and you feel kind of a soft pulse emanate from this gem. In the back, like far distant of your hearing, you hear the familiar whistle that you remember from the fog that you exited before. Kind of a long, droning whistle goes on for maybe 10, 15 seconds before it vanishes from your perception.
What? What was that last
You heard the
part?
whistle. Maybe 10, 15 seconds go by of you just kind of hearing the soft, faint, distant whistling, and then it kind of vanishes from your perception as the orb stops pulsing.
What did you say about perception?
Yeah, you don't hear it anymore. Like you heard it for a few seconds and then it disappeared.
Oh. It didn't do anything?
No, you pulled it out, pulsed for a little bit. You began to kind of hear a distant whistling that you remember hearing from the dark fog that you guys were in,
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of disappeared, and then it stopped pulsing.
interesting.
You're not sure what that means, but you do get the ominous kind of remembers that you encountered.
Hmm. What you gonna do?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're holding these two balls. You're just like, oh, well, that was weird.
What if I put him towards the
Actually
thing?
puts them back.
It's back in your pocket, like. What do you do?
I'm gonna move him towards the thing that was weird.
Okay, you hold them towards the room. I mean,
Yeah,
kind of wait for a few seconds.
nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
Alright.
But now that you are kind of taking the time to examine these stones a little bit more, the black obsidian one is quite beautiful. As you kind of look at it now, you're fairly sure it's worth a lot.
Swallow it.
Oh no.
This looks expensive. Just swallows it.
Unhinge his jaw, like
Must be a cat thing. I don't know.
you can't.
Yeah, probably.
Sounds like
Imagine like the owl just like snatches up.
oh my god, the owl could totally swallow it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is all you guys see in this space. What do you?
Well, shit. What do you think, Shadow?
Hmm. Well,
Well, you seem to know things about temples sometimes.
sometimes if I had to guess, right? Obviously, there's a hidden room, right? You know,
All right.
and if I had to guess, one of these one of these elves are dead, would carry a key very close by to them at all times.
But Neferet, I thought you looted all the bodies.
I did.
Cut them open.
Hmm?
Cut them open.
Cut
Maybe
'em
they swallowed
open.
it.
Look at the dismembered body around you. See all the guts kind of thrown out all over the floor. You're like, sounds like job's
Just
already
threw them.
half done.
I
Sounds like half of the
wonder,
work is done for you.
just a hunch. What if the the keystone was the necklace of the priest?
Do they have any necklaces?
Yeah, the main one, Neferet pulled off the air. It looked like a holy symbol, as far as you could tell. It was like a large golden pendant, with the eye and the wings.
Hmm. I don't think that's gonna fit. But give it a try.
Yeah,
Guess I
okay.
grab it
See.
and see if it works.
Yeah. You kind of take the necklace from Neferet, kind of hold it in your hand. And as you kind of look at it, you can feel, the soft celestial magic kind of emanating from this. And you immediately recognize this as a holy symbol. You kind of feel, the lingering blessing that was placed on this item. You kind of hold it near the altar, and it begins to glow faintly warm in your hand. And the altar immediately relights into a kind of dark purple flame. And the runes around the bottom of the ground, around the altar, begin to light one by one. The one that's out of place, as they all kind of glow, this kind of faint gold, this one that's out of place kind of flashes blue for a second, before it slowly slides back into place, before it flashes again, but turns red this time. And the flame goes out.
That might be on the right path. Maybe?
The three of you, Ezra, Neferet, and Ezrod, can make Arcana check.
All right. Woohoo! Exhaustion at
18.
disadvantage.
18.
Wait,
Ooh.
disadvantage?
Yeah, for exhaustion.
Okay, so well, with disadvantage, 26.
18
I had a
Alright.
with
16.
disadvantage.
See. Okay. So you all kind of watch this, activation and seeming failure of this magical rune. And to all of your magical knowledges, you kind of look at each other for a second. It does seem like the enchantment began to activate before failing. Um, this tells you, especially you, Ezra, um, what it was meant to be protecting is no longer here.
Hmm. If that didn't work, then whatever was being protected might not be here. But I also wonder, Shadow, you're, you're
Yes.
like a, celestial descent. I have to wonder if, like, maybe there's a
Hmm.
bloodline thing. Nephra, would you mind letting Shadow try?
Letting Shadow try what?
Try opening the thing with the pendant.
Oh, he did.
Oh, he did. Sorry, I
Yeah.
Yeah,
must.
I
It
did
must
that.
have glitched out on me when I was.
Oh, no, you're good. Yeah, he took it from Neferet and held it to the altar.
Okay.
I guess we're too late.
Yeah.
Well,
It is a good theory, though. Oh,
looking around, seeing if there's anything else of note. Before suggesting heading on back up.
Don kind of looks around. Hey, Ezra. Kind of thinks
Yeah.
for a moment. You're kind of necromantic, right? Kind of looks to Ezra for confirmation. Like, is that the term?
Sure.
He goes, "You can
please
help,
help.
right? You
Hmm.
I could. Do we
kind of
have
looks down.
questions that we need to know specifically that we can compile to ask him?
Well, how does that work? Do you like have to? I've never seen anyone cast it firsthand. Oh wait. Oh, and never mind. I guess there was that time in the village.
Oh yeah.
Well, I can ask them 5 questions.
Okay.
So we will have to come together and think of 5 questions to like concise everything that we need to know.
Okay. So is this like a genie thing where like it takes everything literal, so you can't be like figurative, like you have to be very like direct with the questions?
Yeah.
Okay. I might
Oh
want to
yeah.
keep my mouth shut for this one.
Yeah. To your knowledge, Ezra, you can, imbue a corpse with the memories and personality that it had in life, with knowledge that it knew. And you know that it is compelled to answer your questions, though the personality and how truthful it is hit or miss.
We should ask it how to open the hidden room.
Yeah, but
That'd be
I'm not
that'd be
sure
a
if
good
it
one.
would tell us. It seems like whoever this person was, that was their job not to let that happen. So I don't think they would tell us.
Well, what if you ask with what if you start with why it was opened and they were robbed? Then he might be more willing to like let on the second question, how do we get in?
True, true.
What would be a good third question, though? What was in there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Who, what, when,
And
where,
also,
and
what
why?
item is the key?
That would help. All right.
Need
Inviting the dead.
Yeah. You kind of
Well,
crouch
like
down.
for a second to ask questions.
Yeah. What does this look like as you cast Speak with Dead?
I feel like I just like touch his forehead,
Yeah.
and then he was just kind of like, you know.
Yeah. You watch as the dark eye sockets kind of relight with a soft black flame as they kind of center on you. Its head kind of lifts, chest takes a shallow breath as it looks to you and waits your first question.
You're dead and you were robbed. Do you know who did this to you?
You kind of make a
A what?
make a persuasion check.
Mm. 13.
13. Okay. Kind of looks to you, looks to the group around you. No, it was unknown witch. Kind of clutches his chest. You see kind of a immediate panic kind of come over his sunken face as his arm falls back to his side. He looks to you again.
What were you guys protecting here?
Give me a persuasion check.
Well,
12.
Here we go.
Kind of looks to you again. Secrets, knowledge that we'd held for a long time. A key must remain with us.
You
what
got.
was the key?
Give me one more perception check.
11. Just keep getting
11.
worse.
by one.
Kind of looks kind of past you for a second. He looks at the altar. Key was kind of pauses again. You see kind of a struggle come across his mind. It was a key to a temple deep in the Maw of the Lion.
Hmm. It seems like this Blood Witch person probably needed that.
Yeah. That was all 5, right?
That was 3. Oh, 3 or 4.
That was like, yeah, that was like 3.
I think it was. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you have 2 more.
The person that attacked you, what did they look like?
Kind of looks to Azrod.
I'll
Kind
repeat.
of pause. Yeah, kind of pauses for a second. She wore robes like mine. Dark, crimson, long, black hair, pale skin. Beautiful in a way, monstrous in others. He kind
Hmm.
of looks to the corpses of his men. You see kind of a soft sadness all over his sunken face as he falls back to you. Kind of nods one last time. One more question.
Hmm. Maybe we should ask if there's anything that he wants us to pass on, like I don't know, like a final goodbye or something.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean, these people probably had families. I think, unless they were like those celibate monks that kind of like swear off families and shit.
They're protectors.
Knowing that we're going after the witch, do you have any last wishes?
Kind of stares at you for a second. Looks to be thinking, you're not sure. Make a wisdom save real quick.
14.
As you kind of wait in this moment for this corpse's response, you watch as his eyes begin to bleed. The flames of his pupils begin to flicker violently as he begins to kind of jerk his head in odd movements. You feel kind of a soft headache begin to press into your mind. You watch as his mouth opens wide and a feminine voice speaks from his lips. Nice trick, little Dahlia. So close, but so far. I had the feeling your little band was looking for me. So be it. You want me? Dive into the maw of the lion, little lambs. Till then,
Just imagine
you
sneezing in the middle of this.
you watch as this body begins to violently shake as
Shit,
it
did that
falls
use up
dead
the last
again.
question?
It did.
God damn it, he didn't answer.
You also take 8 points of psychic damage
Damn.
as this body begins to scream. You all kind of clutch your hands to your ears before it falls limp again.
Wow, what a jerk.
So what I kind of gathered from all of this, what if the Blood Witch is just Lilith?
Imagine.
That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
That would be pretty funny.
Well, I think Blood Witch, beautiful sort of way, kind
Yeah.
of black hair-ish. Just Lilith.
While you're detecting, you see this as well. The lingering necromantic magic that kind of hovered around these bodies as this voice began to speak from it, and as this process began to take place, the bleeding from the eyes and everything, um, the necromantic magic began to pull from all the separate corpses into this one. To your eyes, you take this as the activation of whatever spell she used to speak and then attack Ezra. But once the voice peters out and the body dies again, you notice all the magic just kind of disappears in the ambience or vanishing from sight. Um, you see the same as the effect of Speak with Dead ends.
Well, it seems like she's expecting us.
Well, far be it from me to disappoint. What do you guys say?
Hmm,
Let's teach her a lesson.
why not?
So where is the Maw of the Lion? Is there a lion statue in here?
In here? No,
Oh.
you don't see one.
Do we have a map?
Yeah, you have a map. Yeah, I can pull you guys back to the map.
To the maw of the lion.
Yeah. Um, yeah, as you guys kind of think on it for a moment, you kind of pull out the map. You remember being told about the Gulf of Lion,
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think
and
of.
you remember the pulse of magic that was spread across a lot of this country that happened on that one night seemingly came from this area. Around the Gulf of Lions. So you guys right now, you're over here. Actually, you're over here. Um,
Where?
right over here at the Mist Temple. And yeah, this was where you were told, the witch was last seen, or was last suspected to be. So that's why you originally came here. Yeah.
Ugh,
Right. And this was where you were told, that pulse of magic originated from.
Oh, I kind of see. Yeah, that makes sense. That it would be called the maw of the lion, like the way it's shaped.
Right.
What?
Yeah, just like kind of look at the shape there.
So the ocean is called the Gulf of Lions. You're not quite sure what all this referring to the maw is, but you can kind of speculate. Diving to the ocean can be taken as diving into the maw of the beast.
Hmm.
Um,
If I had to
and
guess, I
you
would say
do
the maw of the
remember.
lion's like probably like right here.
You're not quite sure. I will say you do remember when you were flying over this area, when you were kind of coming down from the mountains. You were able to just barely see kind of the ocean in the distance. You wouldn't have seen it from there, but you know, with all your knowledge up to now, you do kind of, you suspect you're fairly close at this point.
Maybe we should just hug the coast.
Makes sense.
why not?
I'm just looking at all this map stuff. Like, okay, what really
Yeah.
pokes out there? The Morencia. That looks like a city.
hmm Yeah, because right now you guys suspect that you're about maybe a day and a half's travel from like the closest coast.
Hmm.
Yeah, and looking at the map, you can see there looks to be a little coastal village called Monte Lacey over there.
Yeah, that's the closest good village to go to. Than the shared haven. Although if we go to Montelesi, we should be able to secure passage via boat.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they know something about the Maw of Lion.
That is true. Ask Stonk if he knows anything about that.
Yeah. Song kind of looks over at the map, kind of, oh yeah, the ocean. I've never been there myself, but yeah, a lot of people, refer to it as the Gulf of Lions, so I'm not too sure why. Um, I think it has something to do with a dragon turtle that was known to live in, the far out reaches of this sea. Was known to have the head of a lion. Um, though no one's seen it for hundreds of years at least.
Estra
Which is
begins
kind of a
scratching
legend
her
at this point.
chin at that. She's like, ah.
Yeah, just kind of it's kind of a legend at this point.
Hmm.
So as people are, they name places after memorial figures.
Well, that makes
It was
sense. Like,
yeah.
dragon turtles
Some
are
said it
sometimes
was
called lion turtles.
yeah, exactly. And some said that it protected the coastal villages at times. That was probably back in the days of the gods.
Hmm. Without gods around, a figure like that would be more important than ever.
I think we should go to the coastal village and ask questions to find clues.
Definitely. Hmm.
Mhm.
Looking at the map here, if we had a boat, we could hit the river right here, take
Why not?
this stream down that way, and get to the coast, and then it'd be a lot faster than to get there than just traveling over body of water, and hills and land and such.
Definitely.
Hmm. Just kind of like looking over what items we got to work with.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Well, maybe we could build like some kind of raft.
That's right.
Yeah.
Make a wisdom save for me.
Disadvantage, right?
Hmm?
Disadvantage.
No. Yeah, disadvantage.
Hmm.
13.
13. As you kind of take a moment, think about your guys' plan. You feel a secondary presence begin to kind of take place in your mind. A familiar presence. You immediately recognize it as your patron. You you're familiar with his feeling of his observance, his eyes on you, and you kind of feel him just kind of watching. Kind of sends a chill up your spine. That's it.
Hmm.
I'll be like, all right, let's go. Quickly walk out of there.
So,
Just gotta climb back out.
yeah. All right. You guys head back out
Simple.
into the crevice.
I suppose the fastest way is just to take turns on the owl. He's still waiting there.
Yeah, I picture Al's just been like chilling. It's pretty much down until you dismiss it or it dies.
I have an idea.
Oh, and, the
Oh.
time limit.
What's your idea?
Well, we said that. Well, I was thinking earlier that traveling by water is faster than traveling by foot. And
Uh-huh.
we got plenty of rope. If we get to the river and build a reasonably sized raft and put everything else inside the little dimension diamond thing, we should be able to just have the bird just kind of like tow the raft. So it'd be even faster than just regular using a boat.
We're going water rafting.
Ezra,
Water
as
rafting
you were
with a
all,
twist.
stepping out of this structure, and you're kind of taking a minute to plan your way out, you feel the presence in your mind as well. One you've not felt for a little bit, but you immediately feel Cosmo kind of press his presence into yours. You feel his soft voice come into your mind. Ah, Lady Ezra,
Cosmo,
I sense strange dissonance around you. Is everything all right?
uh, we made it to the Mist Temple. Uh, Remnants of blood magic around and other things, but other than that, no trouble.
Ah, he kind of pauses for a moment. So we were suspected, right? The witch has been there.
It would seem so, and she's even gone so far as to issue a challenge, an open invitation.
Hmm. How interesting. It has been difficult for me to find you these last few days.
You
I
usually have no
fear.
trouble at all.
Yes, that is usually quite odd. If you have arrived at the temple, I imagine it must be the mist surrounding it. We've never had units sent inside. Glad to hear you all are all right.
Hmm.
The king sends his regards.
We appreciate that.
We have word that the Estoians have been, as suspected, amassing their armies and making less than pleasing movements. We
Can we hear
fear.
all this?
No, you're just kind of speaking in Ezra's head. Um, we fear the time is approaching that they will make their
Interesting.
for any luck.
Well, we're trying to move as fast as we can, but currently the area is just there's lots of rivers and streams and land in between where we gotta go.
We feel kind of the mental nod. We appreciate everything you're doing. I suspect once you exit this strange mist, it shouldn't be too difficult to recontact you again.
Yeah,
Good luck out there. Be safe.
we will.
You feel his presence kind of slowly dissipate from your mind.
Hmm. After thinking on that and just kind of communicating to everyone, it's like, so I just got a mental message from Cosmo. He says the Estonians are getting restless and the king's expecting trouble from them soon. He hasn't been able to
Damn, he should
contact
send
us.
us a boat.
He might not be able to do that, but I have the next best thing.
Oh.
We recently had our cart refurbished. And
Sure.
uh, did do any of you remember seeing any sizable trees around here?
Why?
Well, I was thinking if we knock down a few good logs and tie them to the cart as supports and for buoyancy, we could convert the cart into a reasonable raft.
Maybe we should consult someone at the village who knows more about boating.
Totem.
Uh, Well, as it stands, this is like the fastest way to get to the village.
Is it?
Hmm. You don't remember. Well, when you approach the mist, you remember seeing kind of like the slight streams. Um, you suspect, around this area, maybe you'll start seeing the river once you get out of, this area. I
Alright.
imagine while you guys are talking, are you flying up and everything?
Yeah.
All right, cool, cool. Getting up out of here. All right, sick. So you all return back to the sinkhole. All right. So gotta keep this image. All right.
It is pretty cool.
So yeah, doesn't take you all long for you rise back up to the lip of this sinkhole. All right. So, what's the plan for the
Look for
next? What
trees.
is it? 2 hours? You have not maybe about 2 hours, maybe longer than that. Next few hours, you have a giant eagle. Around this area, you don't see
Yeah.
any trees of any kind. Um, you don't really remember seeing any since you've entered
Hmm.
the landscape.
Well, regardless, we'll have to go towards that general direction. Hopefully, we'll find something on the way.
Mm-hmm.
So you all begin forward again, kind of dun, 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 heading. So you guys are heading what towards the coast?
The village on the coast.
The village on the coast. All right, Mont de
Yeah.
Lacy. You move this up. Dun. Glad I already have village pictures for this place. Dun, dun, dun. Then I need.
Mm.
It's not long before you guys return to the road that you took to enter the mist. You guys begin backtracking on the trails that you took previous. I will say, as you exit the fog, it is kind of late evening. Um, you're not quite sure what time exactly, but night is beginning to kind of come over the horizon. The deep sunset is kind of casting this area in a dark, overcast.
So there are trees in this area, then.
Yes, and not for long, maybe about an hour or so of travel, you return to the road that you traveled on previously.
All right.
And then yeah, you begin to see the trees again. You see the slight river that you remember walking past, or riding past on the cart. And then let's see. Then you guys keep going. From here, you would head about this way.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Ignore me reusing this meme. But all right. So it's not before long where you guys are fairly certain that you're back on the road towards the village of Monteles. You begin to see kind of the distant beaches. Mm. Okay, and you guys will fairly certain that you will arrive at this village by kind of the middle of the night. And as you do,
Oh,
the
okay.
village comes into view.
I was expecting it to be further away on the map.
Yeah, I'm kind of skipping ahead here. It's mostly just like road travel, so it's like maybe 3 or 4 hours travel before you get there, or until you can at least like start seeing it, in the distance. Um, Perhaps maybe not this map.
It's definitely a good seaport looking kind of town. I like that.
This one's better. This is more the outskirts of it. This one. All right. Yeah. You begin seeing kind of the happenings of a long stretch coastal village, kind of set up on the beaches of the Gulf of Lions. You see various, or I guess not. I mean, it's pretty night, so you don't really see anybody out and about, despite the picture. um, the streets are fairly quiet. All the shops seem to be closed. You see a few ports with a few large ships, kind of docked and closed up. Seems to be a fairly nice village, despite the time of day.
Hmm. Nice. I like the art that you got for these.
Thank you. All right. What do you all
Pretty
do
nice village.
as you arrive in this new village?
We came here to ask questions, right?
Everyone's
Mhm.
sleeping.
Huh?
It is currently like the early, stretch of the night.
Maybe we should find like an inn first, get some rest.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
And then we can start fresh in the morning. Maybe we can do a little drinking too.
Yeah.
All right, all right.
Yeah. You guys can go ahead and make perception checks as you head into this village.
14.
14.
Woohoo.
I rolled on that one.
It's okay. It's a new place. You have no idea where anything is.
17.
With disadvantage,
Okay,
that's a
okay.
24.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So, not before long, you guys find a fairly small tavern with a few booths kind of set up inside. You see what look to be a young human woman just kind of reading a book at the counter. She kind of looks up to all of you. Ah, quite late for travelers. Hello.
We'll take a 3 rooms, 2 rooms, 2 beds each.
Kind of nods, thinks for a second. All right, that will be 5 gold, or sorry, 5 silver. Five
Ezra
gold
just
would be
hands.
crazy
She just
expensive.
hands her an entire gold. Like, uh,
Whoa.
do you do breakfast in the morning?
Ah, yes, we can absolutely bring you breakfast.
Okay, then the rest of this will cover that. And
Ah, thank you so much. Will
and
this be?
maybe a quick meal too before,
Ah,
if
yes.
it's not an
Will this be for
inconvenience.
one night or multiple?
Uh, Ezra just kind of like
This
looks to
is
everybody else. Like,
yeah. This is an
One.
okay, just the one.
Well, so much. She kind of quickly turns to the side, pulls a few keys off a hook, kind of gives them to you. Well, your rooms are right up the stairs and to the left.
All right, thank you. I did pull the our cart with my goat around to the back to put him in the stable with the horses. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, she kind of gives you a nod. That should be fine.
All right, thanks. And then she just drowsily just walks off to the room.
Mhm. All right. I got a picture of this tavern. Dun, dun, dun. Let me create an extra
The
thing.
rest of that gold, can we buy a round of drinks?
Yeah, whatever you would like. And as you step inside, or as you kind of take a moment to look at this woman, she seems fairly nice. You look around, you see beautiful decor kind of spread out around the room. I don't know if I told you the name of this place when you entered, but it's called the
Oh,
Lion's
you did
Breath.
not.
The
When
lion's
it's like it's
maw.
called the Lion's Maw, and we're like,
This is the place. Yeah, sorry. Put this on the map real
It's
quick.
the Lion's Maw too.
Yeah,
Electric
named
Boogaloo.
after
Yeah.
no grid.
Not to be confused.
My sister runs the Lions Mall.
Please call me Lion.
You
Mr.
run the
Maw was my
Lion's
father.
Maw too.
Mr. Mall is my father. Okay, and I can pull you guys over to here. Boop.
so cute.
This is the silliest thing, and I love it. Is this like from
Why
Wizard
is there a
So you
101?
walk
tentacle
in.
monster coming through a
Found
floor?
out.
I don't
Does look like that.
know. It's just use your imagination, damn it.
Are you a boy or a girl?
Ignoring like the water and the tentacle boy coming out of the ground. This is what I kind of pictured for this place.
Yeah, I know that.
It's got an
Right,
aesthetic.
so yeah, she kind of points you to the door, right over here. And she says, "You go inside there and up the stairs, and the doors will be right on your right." She kind of pulls over a tray of drinks, kind of hands them to you. You see more ales. They kind of a color, and there's kind of like gold flecks kind of twirling around.
Wow, we got the fancy stuff.
Well, you guys
Something
paid
nice
for
on the table.
the quality, so
Cheers.
high-paying guests like you gotta keep you happy. You guys look exhausted. Why don't you just head to bed, and we'll send up some food for you.
That sounds like a
I'll be
plan.
taking this drink to go.
She turns around and heads into the back door, which you assume is the kitchen. You can hear a few pots and things rustling around. Slowly, before long, you begin to smell kind of the salted meats and the savory kind of sweet textures of sauces, sizzling vegetables in the air. As you all get to your rooms, they are, fairly small and quaint, but they have, two beds in each.
All right.
Yeah, they're pretty basic rooms, nothing too special. But you each have a bed and a small chest with a small nightstand where you can take your long rest.
Ezra just kind of like tosses her stuff to the side and just like collapses onto the bed face first. Oh, okay.
Well, we can go ahead and end here. You guys will take your long rest. Unless there's anything, you guys would like to do before. Any conversations or any role play or anything.
Well, that's always a good chance for it.
Yeah.
I mean, she did ask
Yeah,
for
you
the
guys
food and
kind
drink
of
to be brought to the room.
Oh yeah. Well, it's not for long. Maybe 10, 20 minutes go by. As there's a soft knock on the door. I got your food.
Cheers.
You open the door. You see she has this large platter, what looks to be several fishes of different colors and varieties that you haven't quite seen. You see what look to be what are they called? What look to be kind of like chickens or like hens of some kind. You're not quite sure. They all she kind of pushes in this small cart and trays. She goes, "Well, I hope this is enough for all of you."
Tonight we feast.
Hmm.
She goes, "All right, if you need anything else, don't hesitate to ask."
That'll work.
And she quickly hurries out, closes the door behind her. You're all left alone.
I'm trying to
The
figure out.
food is delicious. It smells amazing. You all dine in,
Well, that's good.
get good time to relax. Well deserved time to relax.
Absolutely. Esther just kind of like rolls over to the side. Ezra, can you pass me some of that shrimp? It smells really good.
Various seafood kinds.
They're doing pretty good for themselves in this village.
Sure, they kill it. You get the sense that this is, more of the trading village, kind of Dockport City. But yeah, we can go ahead and end there. Thanks. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Absolutely.
Nice.
This has been Nerd Militia, Grim Hollows, blah 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
I ended
It
up
was
having
fun.
the same issue that we had last night with not having that audio the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah, that's alright.
Oh well, learning experience.
Alright. The first rare session with no combat. But you guys get some
Yeah.
well-deserved rest. You
I'll
guys
take
made
it.
it through the fog and the mist. Made the Mist Temple,
Yeah.
got some good intel.